Service Fusion logs two types of time. Standard clock in and clock out time, which is similar to just a punch clock on the wall. That's not going to be tied to any particular job. It's used for an employee who starts work at 8 and clocks out at 5. The second type of time that we log is drive and labor time. This is tied to individual jobs and it's controlled by the status of the job. I'll show you both of those. The first is the clock in and clock out time. At any point, you can come to your dispatch grid here. So I'm in dispatch grid. Here's my list of field technicians, and I can see green for any employees that are clocked in and gray for any employees that are clocked out. If I select this box, I can also clock them in or out and start a break for them as well. The field employees can control this time from their mobile app. On the home page of the Field Worker app, at the very bottom, there's a clock in and clock out time, as well as a section where they can pause time if they need to take a break or a lunch. Let's take a look at how to correctly log drive and labor time for a particular job. To log it correctly, the system is going to look for certain statuses that are put into the system by the field worker to know when to start and stop that time. And it's really simple. There's only three main statuses that they need to have in order to correctly log those times. The first one is the on the way status. This means the technician is actually headed to the account or the customer. That will begin the drive time calculation in the system. That will continue until the technician puts that job into an on-site status. The on-site status does a couple of things. First thing is it will stop the drive time calculation, and it'll also start the labor time calculation, which will continue until the job is put into a completed status. So as long as your field service technician is using on the way, on-site, and completed, you'll get those times accurately recorded. If they need to take a break, a lunch break, or are just off the job site for a little while, need to stop that time calculation, they can use the pause and resume statuses to stop that from logging time. So let's look at a job here. This is a job that I already have open in the system that has a little bit of time already logged on it for me. I put 2 hours for drive time, 2.5 hours for drive time, 1 hour for labor time. If your technician goes out and correctly does the statuses that we just looked at, this time will be automatically logged here, and you can either from the mobile app or from the back office determine if you want that to be billable to your customer or not. Some customers just want to log that information so that they can keep track of their employees' time. If you want to bill it straight to your customer, you can check these and it'll also add those to the invoice. You can also manually add time if you'd like by going to the Drive and Labor Times tab and clicking Add here. You can select a technician, date. You can either enter the drive start and end time, labor start and end time, or if it's easier for you, you can just put in the time here and the system will just calculate that for you like that. We have two time logging reports built for you that you can access at any point. You can use the reports to export into Excel for payroll purposes, or if you need to go back in after the fact and just adjust some of this time, you can actually do that directly on those reports. To get there, you just go to Reports at the top of the page and select Reports Dashboard. And there are two separate reports. The hours worked by employee is going to log the time for the clock in and clock out time. And the second report is job, drive, and labor time, which we just looked at. This is what's going to log that time and tie it with a specific job. So there's some pre-built time frames here at the bottom, or if you'd prefer to, you can click custom, customize your dates. You can pull it for a specific technician or a specific customer, anything like that. So going into the last 2 weeks report here, let's check this out. So each employee will have their own section here, date and time stamped. On the right hand side, you'll have the ability to go in and click map so you can see where they were when they logged this time. So it'll show their location here. If you need to, you can select edit and adjust that time. If there was an error made or if you need to add additional time, you can do that right on the report itself. When you're ready, you can print this here so that it pulls it up in your browser. And if you need to pull it into an Excel under the custom section on that report line, if you do a custom report, you can actually export that straight to Excel.